Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kim Insights on another segment of My Mondays. And on today's segment of My Mondays that I want to talk about this, we can see I got my NFL jersey on. It's not my favorite team, but it's one of my favorite players that I watched as a child, Tyrod Taylor. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get his Buffalo Bills jersey, which I would love to definitely get. So, if anybody anybody that has a Tyrod Taylor jersey in a size medium for the Buffalo Bills, or even a Virginia Tech, or even a Hamptons Crabber jersey, definitely would like to get one. But on another topic, so as we all know, next week is Super Bowl Sunday, and by me being a football coach, someone who loves watching football, who most of the time takes that Monday off the day after Super Bowl, I just wanted to give my analysis and my prediction on the Super Bowl. Like, I feel like I should be able to show y'all like my knowledge of the game right here, right now as we speak. So I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about arguably the biggest sporting event in the United States of America. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go on the topic. As we all know, both the Los Angeles Rams will play the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And so I'm about to now go into analysis on both teams and just letting y'all know, like, all right, who I feel like going to win the game after that. So quarterback play. As of right now, I feel like Matt Stafford is the hotter quarterback. The last two games he done passed for over 300 yards. I feel like he's played slightly better than Joe Burrow, which Joe Burrow, the last 3 games, he had a good game against the Raiders. Against the Titans, he got sacked 9 times, which wasn't his fault, which I would definitely go into more detail about. He had 200 yards, but he didn't throw any touchdown passes. He bounced back against a little bit against the Chiefs, but he still only had 250 yards. It wasn't like he had a good game, but he didn't have a great game compared to his stature. For the season, Matt Stafford passed close to 4,900 yards for 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, which I believe led the league in interceptions. Joe Burrow, he wasn't too far off, passed for 4,600 yards, I think 36 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, or 37. He was 12th in QBR. The rushing game, this is where, like, it kind of sways the game, because I feel like the game is going to be won in the trenches. So they're both in the lower of the 10 teams in the rushing yards, which the Bengals slightly favor the Rams. And as we will see, like, some of these stats as I'm going over them, these pretty much an even team. I mean, even matchup. So we can't ask for anything but a better Super Bowl than this. And we couldn't even predict this Super Bowl if you would have asked me in August. But so basically, like, some of the key players, we don't know how on the Rams side, how Sam Akers, how he's going to factor into the game, and Sony Michel. I don't think they're better than Joe Mixon and Pierre, but because just by looking at Joe Mixon, he's a beast. They just don't run him the ball enough, in my opinion. Like, I feel like they get too pass happy, and a little bit with the Rams too. That's why they probably in the lower half of the league in rushing. But I feel like if the Bengals do what they're supposed to and feed Joe Mixon, we're going to have a different discussion on this game. But receiving corps, I feel like the Bengals have a slightly better receiving corps than the Rams. Like I said, Jamar Chase. What's the other receiver name? Higgins. Tyler Boyd. I feel like their 3 is a little bit better. Cooper Kupp, I feel like, is a little bit, right now, when we talk about in the future, Jamar Chase be better than him. But right now, I feel like Cooper Kupp's a little bit better than Chase. I do feel like Odell is better than Higgins, but they're not, it's not substantially better. They're like neck and neck, each one of them. But I feel like what differs them is, I feel like Tyler Boyd is better than Jefferson or whatever. Tight end wise. I just feel like right now we don't know. It's up in the air who's the better tight end, because both tight ends went down with sprained MCLs. But what I've seen from the last game the Rams played against the 49ers, number 86, I don't know who his name is, but he's a beast. So let's see how he play. Line-wise, I don't think we got to have any more discussion. The Bengals line sucked. Just keeping the point blank simple. They was 30th in the league in sacks allowed. So I don't think we got to explain no more than that. So let's go to defense. Of course, we know the Rams. They got a all-star roster of their own. As we watched the Pro Bowl today. I mean, as I was watching the Pro Bowl earlier. They got an all-star defensive line. I mean, I think they was first in the league in sacks and stuff like that, which sways in their favor. They got, of course, we don't need to say no more about Aaron Donald, Floyd. We don't need to say no more about them. And then we don't need to say no more about Von Miller. You know what I'm saying? Bengals line, though, they're pretty good, too. I was surprised. They got 42 sacks. So it's not as a big of a talent differential that we think it is. But I do feel like, I do know that the Rams got a better defensive line. They got the monsters of line. Linebacker, of course, I'm not too familiar with neither one team's linebacker, of course, so I can't really say too much about them. I know both teams' defenses, and like this goes back to saying about how like their rushing games were similar. Both defenses finished 17th and 18th in the league, with Rams finishing 17th and the Bengals finishing 18th. So it's not like the Rams defense has performed substantially better than the Bengals defense. Now, I would say in the playoffs, the Rams defense has ramped it up to be number 2. And I think what I seen, the Bengals is number 8 in the league in the playoffs so far in defense. Secondary, this one, this is a tough one too if I think it over, because we know Jalen Ramsey the best cornerback out there, but I feel like there's some injuries on the back end of their secondary, as I know. Eric Waddle, who came out of retirement for 2 years, is playing safety. So that is say how banged up they is. They had to get a man out of retirement. But it's a dude on their secondary. I think he's number 33. He's a thumper. And I don't know if Jamar Chase or any one of them going to come up the middle, but he's going to thump them. I'm pretty sure we're going to see one good hit out of him. But the Bengals secondary, I feel like I slightly favor them, but not by a lot, because they got the dude from Hilton. They got Hilton from Pittsburgh, who's a pretty good slot corner. Their 2 safeties, they're crazy. So like I feel like it's just kind of a wash, because the Bengals secondary is good, but the Rams have Jalen Ramsey, who's great, who could shut down one side of the field. Kicking game wise, that kicker for the Bengals is clutch. And so I feel like this game is going to come down to that. But so that's a brief analysis on the teams. So I also just want to talk about strategies that I would do as a coach for both teams. So my strategy for the Rams offense, it would be go attack Eli Apple. Just attack him as much as you can, because I feel like he's the weak link. And as I coach as I coach football, you got to expose the weak link, and I feel like that's their weakness. Like Eli Apple is, they said, I respect every football player. I know he's a great football player in college and stuff like that. But in the NFL, he hasn't been that great. So I'm just speaking on terminology and just speaking honesty. Like no disrespect towards him. He just hasn't been that great. He's not a top 10 corner. I don't think he's a top 15 corner. He's just been a bust where he got drafted at. On defense, they got to get pressure. As we all know, like in the Tennessee Titans game, Joe Burrow's getting his head drilled in. Now, I know Joe Burrow is made for it, but he was getting his head drilled in. And the key to that is, I feel like what they need to do, instead of like people saying like you need to put Ramsey on Jamar Chase, that seems like the pretty matchup. But with me personally as a coach, what I would do is, I feel like Ramsey's skill set is better suited to cover someone like Higgins, because they're both big physical people. And so if you're able to take away their number 2 and double their number 1, the only person you got to worry about is Tyler Boyd in the slot, because we don't know what that tight end's gonna look like. So the only thing they can do is run the ball. So that's just how I feel. Like, you should just go ahead and put Ramsey on Higgins. Him take that one side of the field completely off, shut Higgins down. Then just double Chase, because I feel like if you take away those two options, Tyler Boyd, he's good enough to get off. Don't get it wrong. Like, there's a reason why this offense is great. But we don't trust the Bengals coach to run the ball that much. So that's why I say that. And so, like, you could play double high safety, but favor the side towards Jamar Chase, and then have Ramsey lock down Higgins. So that's just what I would do if I was the Rams. What I would do if I was the Bengals on offense. One, I would run the ball, because we done seen it before. Like, especially against the zone run scheme early on in the season. When the Rams played the 49ers, who they had troubles against for 3 years, where they lost 6 straight, but they just beat them in the NFC Championship. But one of their troubles was they had a lot of problems against the zone run scheme. And if you just get after them guys, it's going to offset them. And plus, you got big monsters out there. But big monsters don't like to be bullied themselves. Like, so you try to play bully ball against them, I think that'll help out. And also, I'll say when I said that my matchup, I thought about putting Chase. That's Chase being on the outside. But I feel like if you try to line Chase up more in the slot, put him in motions, just to get him a number of opportunities, just to get some inside matchups, or where they gotta, call inside outside on defense, that will help Chase out, because I don't feel like they should have Ramsey covering Chase as much like that. So if I was on the Bengals defense, I would make Sam Bradford throw the ball. And I say this because, like, I said Sam Bradford. I mean Matt Stafford throw the ball, because I don't feel like they have enough confidence in their running game. Rams have a tendency sometimes of just getting away from their running game. They want to be all prissy and stuff like that. Just like the Bengals, which is surprising. Like, both teams, they have a solid running game, but they like to go away from it. So I feel like you should make Matt Stafford win the game. And just put him in scenarios where you shouldn't blitz him, but you can still play cover 3. Give him, a single high safety or something like that. Because if they stop running the ball and then you play in single high, but you got to also make sure you got somebody covering inside out on Cooper Kupp, because he's a dog. I feel like you'll be all right. Now you're gonna have to make sure Appley's covered. You have to make sure he's good, because I think the safety might have to favor towards his side. But this is my opinion. So with all that being said, this is a tough game, man. Like I said, like, both teams are pretty much evenly match up. If you look at the stats, like, you'll be surprised how, like, tight knit they are. Like, they're within each category, a few slots are within each other. Like, heck, even the quarterback's yardage, passing touchdowns, interceptions and stuff, they're both almost equal. Now, I do feel like Joe Burrow's a dog. And if Washington would have went 0-16, I would not have been mad if Joe Burrow would have came to Washington. Maybe the name would have been different. But so with that being said, y'all, so even though I said that, I feel like this game will come down to maybe even a coin flip. And by the Rams being at home, I feel like the Rams are going to win 30-27. I'm not confident in that pick, because Joe Burrow has something special. And I feel like if that ball in his hands and he got the last drive, he going to win the game. So don't quote me to say, hey, you predicted the Rams will win 30-27. And by the way, the spread got the Rams winning, got them in a 4.5 point spread. I feel like it's going to be closer, it might be a touchdown or a field goal. I don't see this game being a blowout. I don't see this game being like either team being within a touchdown one another. One might get ahead real early, but second half it's gonna be a tight game, the whole game, because these both teams are evenly matched. And so, like I said, with that being said, Rams 30-27. I'm not confident on my pick, but hey, if the Rams win, I'd be happy. If the Bengals win, I'd be cool too. So with that being said, y'all, this is Kim the Site doing another segment of My Mind Mondays.